Yep,
Okay, go ahead. I'm
is
so
that
sorry. Yeah.
no, no worries. Is it more like a platform as far as like Bright Local and what's the other one? Yext, like that
Uh-huh.
type of thing for local citation building? Do you actually does it automate that process? And I guess we could probably cover it in the
Uh-huh.
demo. I just want to see how
Right.
easy it is because right now we do have an individual, a contracted resource
Okay.
outside, essentially doing our citation building and everything like that, leveraging those two tools.
Okay. And I mean, are you familiar with how this third person sort of getting you these results? I mean, is he sort of manually getting all of this taken care of, or is he maybe affiliated with one of these platforms that you just mentioned?
He's not affiliated with the platform. He just
Okay.
leverages those platforms. So
Oh, all right. Okay. And I mean, just to answer your first question, yes, I mean, we are a platform ourselves. It's a tool for local SEO. Uh, I mean, primarily built for agencies like yourself. I mean, that's the goal, or that's the scaling plan, if you'd ask me. So Synap's going to focus on making a product that sort of helps businesses while we sort of have partnerships with companies like yourself who'd focus on getting the number of locations sort of to scale up, right? So that's the idea in terms of how it works. The entire model is white labeled throughout, but yes, it's an automated solution. So you can compare us to Yext, but not a bright local in so many ways. I mean, we're all working towards the same goal. I mean, helping local businesses with their presence online. But the way we do it is probably more similar to Yext, simply because automation is a common factor here. But again, there's a huge difference again with Yext and how we work in terms of automation. Straight out of the top, I mean, what you will sort of see is, I mean, I can call it better customer experience, but the reason behind that here is we at no point change information, revert any of the progress, none of those things that you may have heard about happening with Yext. It is a fact. I mean, it's probably one of the biggest reasons we've got a lot of agencies moving over from Yext particularly, but that's not happening at sign up. I mean, uh, dashboards are similar. The functionalities and features, we've got some common feature sets amongst both platforms. We have different features alongside that as well, and I'm sure they do as well. But we're a simpler solution to use. I don't know if you've seen the X dashboard yet, but from what I've seen and compared to ours, it's so much more easier for a small or medium business owner to actually be controlling all of these things by logging in. But you as an agency going to your customers today can confidently sort of let them know that their information is in safe hands. And when they do sort of maybe part ways or end their subscription with you, they're not going to be, I mean, in a scenario where they see all their information go back, and that's going to put you in maybe a tight situation, right? They've sort of
yeah,
paid
yeah,
you
yeah,
over
absolutely.
time for progress, and maybe losing that could be a hard sell. So there's more goodwill to gain out of this. I think we're trying to build a product that's very transparent. The idea is that you scale. It's not the number of locations you come on board with now. It's the number of locations you and I get to probably in 6 months' time. That's a factor for both you and me. I'll go through the dashboard, but just to sort of give you an idea of how agencies have scaled with the model. I mean, local SEO has always been amongst the cheapest solutions out there when you look at marketing options for a business today. It's a subscription which works really well for you as an agency as well. It keeps them in contact with you. They're part of a billing cycle now, not a one-time uh, billing opportunity that you would probably see in most cases. So this monthly subscription again gives you window to always go back and sell them all the other marketing you guys do. You can definitely show them value with local SEO, get them to sort of lean on you as their marketing expert, and then going back and giving them everything else that you guys can do becomes a lot easier. At least that's what we've seen from a lot of agencies who work using the sign up dashboard. All
Perfect.
right.
That's exactly our model too. We're more retainer based than anything else.
Okay. Okay. And I mean, just briefly going through your website, I see that you've packaged these solutions as well in different plans. Uh, if you don't mind me asking, what is the customer base you guys are serving? I mean, how many of your customers today sort of come to you for local SEO? And
We
maybe how many local customers do you have in general, if I could ask?
Today, so we have one, two, three that could potentially benefit from local SEO. The rest are kind of all over the US, and they're
Okay.
more B2B, no storefront, that type of thing. But our
Okay. Okay.
primary when we employed the local SEO tactic, it was for a retail location um, that
Okay.
has eight. Don't they have eight locations? Yeah.
Right. Right. So, I mean, that's the best way forward. I mean, targeting multi-location sort of gets the revenue stream accelerating at a much faster pace, makes your job a lot easier, and of course, I mean, benefits you in so many other ways. We've got price breaks as well, so as you scale as an agency, your pricing always reduces, so you always stand to gain more in the long run. And I mean, right now the website's in front of you. Can you see the screen that's on share right now?
I can. Yep.
All right, so we've been doing this for close to 5 years now, and if we were talking probably in the first year, I would have mostly had just a listing solution to show you, something that helps businesses with their citations and so on. But over time, what we've sort of built are a lot of features centered around getting those listings to really do some benefit to this business. So it's all enhancing your presence, and that's again how Synup's going to work. It's a startup. We're building product in-house. Everything's a team of engineers working and sort of improving on how the solution is today. So you're always going to have a better product to sell going forward. That's the idea. That's something that you will see very clearly when you see the dashboard as well. And in terms of how this works for you, the nice thing is SignUp's got just one plan, one package with every feature included. So you as an agency, irrespective of what services you sort of primarily would want to push, would still have access to every feature that we have. And again, it's going to help you in scaling when you sort of look at it, or maybe when you sort of look back on this in the long run. All right. Now, any more questions before we sort of get into the demo and I sort of run you through these features one by one?
Just I guess one, as far as integrations go from a reporting perspective, do you either integrate with HubSpot or what's this
So,
box? What data box?
so I think Zapier is the key between the two.
Okay.
Yeah, so we use I mean the sales team here as well needs a CRM to work out of all of this. So it is connected and Zapier is enabling this. So yeah, that's certainly an option. We also have API keys that we can give you documentation for how the dashboard features work. You could maybe build a slightly different solution around it. Maybe the look and feel of things could be customized, but that's still a longer process. There's an easier plug and play solution that most agencies sort of use with us. I'm going to sort of jump into the dashboard straight up. All
Please.
right. Now, what you're looking at is the sign up dashboard. You could resell it as is. What you're looking at, just have your branding all across. And that's the simplest way to come on board. The other option that I was mentioning is the API documentation that you would have your developers work on and then sort of come up with a solution that maybe is more in line with what you have in mind. But this is essentially the easiest option. And what you're seeing right now is the first page where all your locations would show up is the location manager part of the dashboard. What you'll see here is a tag functionality and the option of sort of putting different locations in folders. Again, very simple utility, sort of comes in handy when the number of locations go up. You can maybe add different locations to certain folders, access to those folders to particular individuals, and they sort of become account managers in that sense for those locations, and they'd have responsibilities particularly for those locations that you assign. And that's just from the management sense. You as the agency can sort of easily be on top of these things using these features. Again, the tag is also simple. Maybe use tags to sort of categorize them based on the niche or the industry they're from, and you could sort of, I mean, just play around and monitor them using those tags and just pull them up on the roll up that you see from here. All right, that's the first page. Go ahead.
Does this integrate with like Google Map Pack or anything like that? Have an impact
Oh yeah.
on that?
So
Okay.
Google's, so
Oh
on
yeah.
our network, the list. listing submissions, we've got 48 on that list. Google's without doubt the most important on there. We've got Google, Yelp, Bing, Foursquare, all important platforms that a local SEO solution would need, and a few more. I mean, it sort of adds to what you bring to the table when you have 48 directories. Maybe that's a good value add, but let's be honest, it is the important platforms, the ones that sort of really matter that you should be focusing on. But again, I mean, maybe the rest of these directories all contribute to your visibility in some sense nonetheless. But straight off the top, what you bring to this customer today is the ability to put them on 48 top directories, but you can do this in 72 hours. Now, that's a factor. That's a USP probably. The fact that you can do this that quickly.
Hmm.
Just to sort of put that in perspective, what you're seeing right now is the homepage of a particular location. All the data that you've entered for this location shows up here. But moving on to the features, I'm clicking on listings, going to premium listings, and this is where our directory list is. All right, this is the network that we have, along with the status of your listing on this platform. All right, so when you maybe onboard or set up a client, in the first 72 hours, your client can see this progress himself by simply logging in. All right. Now, I mean, I don't think I mentioned this, but again, a small game changer in a lot of ways is the fact that how local SEO for so long has simply been a service or a solution that, I mean, customers can sort of benefit from. But today, you can also give them a product of yours to use along with the service that you've been giving them. And maybe that sort of changes things, just adds more value to it. I mean, now they can come onto your website, log into this dashboard, and control or simply be on top of everything that you and this client promise to sort of work on. And again, a lot of important features that sort of continue on this dashboard that they'll understand as well impact their visibility. And maybe the fact that it's all on a single page and it's pretty simple to use gets them involved. And in very little time, it's so easy to get them these results as well to sort of back up on whatever you've claimed. So that's the way forward. The first feature, premium listings, is getting your listings taken care of on all of these platforms. Again, added advantage, all of these listings would have accurate information because it's a software doing it. It's not manually submitted across these networks. So whatever information is on Google is going to have, I mean, it will reflect exactly the same on Bing or Yelp as well. Right? That's the idea. That's again a factor when you talk about ranking. Just how accurate your information is on the internet, again, is a contributor to a business's visibility. And you as an agency can now help them or sort of assure them that it's something that you have taken care of for them. I clicked on the edit business option that you saw on the first page, the listings page, and now you can change this information as well real time. I mean, 72 hours again is a safe period that we talk about, but you'd see most of these listings update almost instantly, pretty much real time. But yeah, some of the important platforms take close to 72 hours, so that's how we sort of uh, come up with that time frame. Again, a factor in terms of ranking is how often you can maybe optimize your listings. Uh, However, there isn't a lot of information on here that you can sort of play around or improvise on, but just your business description in a lot of ways, or your images that you have on these directories, if you can maybe update or just make some changes to this every couple of months, that again is a factor when you talk about ranking on the internet. All right?
Perfect.
So we've covered premium listings up until this point. I've shown you a couple of value points that you can sort of promote that you really can't do otherwise with a manual solution that maybe could translate into maybe charging a premium for this service going forward. Again, our prices are extremely affordable. We'll come to how the packaging works, but any questions about premium listings before we maybe move on?
Any problem with cannabis?
Not in the states that have officially legalized it. I
Okay.
mean,
Yeah,
yeah,
perfect.
so that's
Yeah.
not a
I mean, it's
concern for
always going
sure.
to be fed,
All right,
but yeah, if we're talking about Colorado, Missouri, etc. Yeah.
for sure. I
Okay.
mean, Google's going to be on top of it, so So even if we try and have something submitted, if that's not within uh, the rules or the legislation of that country, I mean the city or the state, it wouldn't show up. All right.
Perfect. Okay.
So
Good. Good. Good.
we've seen premium listings. Now, while all this is happening, which is basically updating existing listings, ensuring all these platforms have accurate information about this business, we have duplicate listings as well, which could be a feature or a service you sort of promote as is or as an add-on. And what happens here is we identify multiple listings if there are on a single platform, for example. For example, Judy's book here has two duplicates of this business, and it definitely is affecting their visibility in a lot of sense. So all you got to do is just verify and make sure it is a duplicate listing, ensure that the information is not something that I mean, if it's all accurate, maybe it makes sense. Probably what we're looking at here. Okay, no, this one's definitely a duplicate, and this one probably seems like another branch of theirs. I'm not too sure. So maybe this is something that should be removed, and that's something you can facilitate from right here. All you do, or your client does, is, I mean, authorize it by clicking the flag option, and we have it removed from the team here. Takes about 2 weeks, but again, I mean, talking about how this differs from Yext, they do this as well, but when you cancel with Yext, these duplicates come back. All right, so they're not really going off the internet in any sense. They still technically are affecting your visibility because it's there. It's just not showing up. But the minute that subscription ends, it does show up. All right. I mean, just to
Got
sort of, I mean, talk about how it's different. Now, I don't have the technical terms for it, but Yext in the way that API works has some form of a layer between the directory and the progress that they add to the directory. And basically, when you cancel, the layer goes off and everything on that layer disappears as well. All right, that's the idea of how their API works. We have something known as the publisher's API. It sort of works very closely with what's happening at the publisher's end, the directory itself. So at no point would these listings go back without someone really changing it themselves. All right, and that control is with your client or with you with this dashboard, basically.
excellent.
Okay, now premium listings and duplicate listings all working towards ensuring you have updated, accurate information all across the web. Additional listings here is a manual set of 28 directories that we have. All right, not something we promote or advocate. It's not really going to add too much of an impact on top of what the premium listings could already do for your business technically, but it's still going to
Hmm.
be a reserve, something you as an agency can fall back on. Maybe there would be cases where a business demands more directories than the 48. Maybe you could use this as a room to upsell and just make more revenue out of it as well. Each directory here costs $1.50, one-time cost. Takes about 2 to 3 weeks to sort of publish online, but again, it manually sort of goes on from the team that works with us here. So, yeah, just use this as a pool that you'll fall back on in particular use cases. And yeah, we can definitely facilitate all of this for you if you can just let us know of the requirement. Okay?
Perfect. No, that works great. Sorry, my next meeting's here.
Okay.
And it's easy.
Right.
So
So now we
basically, when you
right.
go to that list, just sorry, circling way back, if you're doing a listing for
Mm-hmm.
the marinara pizza, you essentially edit it
Mm-hmm.
in there, and it pushes that edit out across multiple, right?
Correct. Correct. Yes. And the status of that process would always be showing up here real time. Google, Yelp, and Facebook are three accounts that you would have to connect to the dashboard before we sort of go ahead and sort of work on those accounts. Obvious reasons, all three need direct account access before which anyone could work on it. So one of the steps that you would sort of have to sort of carry out when you set up an account of a client.
Perfect.
Okay. Now, all that you saw here is a perfect listing solution. It's a perfect citation solution that you can sell as a standalone plan. All right. But alongside this, now there are factors that we sort of spoke about in the past as well that help these listings do better. And that's all that follows from here on. So Then it becomes a local SEO solution. When all of this comes together, you as an agency could promote this as a local SEO solution, but just individually as well. Interactions and review generation, the two features we're going to look at, are again sold as solutions as is. I mean, just the fact that you can help a business monitor reviews, track reviews, that's an area that they're looking for help with, and that's part of this dashboard as well. The review generation tool helps you communicate and get reviews from your customers as well. It's a feedback module that sort of reaches out and sort of asks your customers to write you reviews. We'll have a look at that as well. So all of these could be promoted as solutions as is, and you could package them differently as well and sort of put them across based on the customer you're speaking to. All right?
Yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect. Um, do you have anything that walks through, like, say I'm a new agency and I want to start
Mm-hmm.
offering this? Do you
Mm-hmm.
have anything that walks through set up a new
And
citation or a new business?
Yeah, so every time, I don't know if it works on the agency account, but if there were a small or medium business directly signing up with us, they do have these pop-ups that sort of assist them with the whole
Yeah.
setting up of their account. But you as a partner would have a lot more assistance for sure. For example,
Okay.
I mean, as soon as, we sort of, get things underway, there is an onboarding call that sort of scheduled. You'd have someone train you on all these functions and basically how to set it up as well. The dashboard you're looking at needs to be white label, so that's something that would be set up with someone from our team working with you. There's a scan tool as well. We'll come to that in a bit. I'm not sure if you're aware of how that works. That again is white labeled. You could use that. So that's something that someone will assist you through. Then there's a session to train you on the platform. Then there's someone who'd connect you to the support team that would sort of help you with maybe cases that come up going forward where you need assistance. And there would be an account manager who basically helps you with scaling and pricing and so on as your location count goes up. All right.
Nice. What is that scan tool?
We'll see that in a couple of seconds. It's basically a lead
Oh, okay.
generation tool. All right. I mean, as long as we don't maybe lose the chain of thought, I can actually jump to that if that's okay. Are
Yeah,
you keen
totally.
on? Okay, so we're back on the website right now, and anyone on our website today can run a scan to see how their listings are doing at the moment. Just to sort of show you what the scan report would look like. Okay, I just jumped a step forward, but basically, if someone filled that form up, they're directed to a page that looks somewhat like this, where there's a report giving them an update on how their listings are doing on specific directories, what information matches, and it's all sort of compared to the data they fill up on the previous page. Okay, the branding on top would have your logo and your name, the URL as well. That's part of the white labeling, but at this point, someone on your website who's run the scan gets this information, which is valuable. You, as the agency, get all their personal information as a lead on this dashboard. So
Oh,
it works as a lead generation tool. So maybe your job of maybe getting new customers becomes slightly easier. All right.
hey,
So
hold on one second.
sure.
All right.
Okay. So yeah, your scan tool would
Yeah,
have your branding on it, of course.
thanks, Trent.
And yeah, any questions about the
Um,
scan tool?
no, I was going to say, so if anybody comes in to sign up, are you more channel friendly and you want to push those leads to agency partners, or are you,
Mm-hmm.
um, or are you, or would you just take them direct?
No, so honest answer, I mean, the idea is definitely to channel this towards agencies or partners working with us, but I don't know if I can say we haven't figured out a way how to do it, but we're just not doing it yet. But are we directly selling to small and medium businesses? It's yes, we are, but it's not priority. There's not a resource that's technically used to really sell to them. But if they still choose to come on the website and buy, they have that option. But again, a deterrent there, something that sort of helps our partners in their model is the fact that anyone subscribing directly with us has to pay upfront for the year. All right, not a lot of small and medium businesses are okay with that option, so maybe that brings them to someone like you who is more local and gives them a monthly subscription option, right? So that's the idea. Between you and us, you have monthly pricing. That's one of those features of the partnership. But any other business directly with sign up would have to pay 360, which is the cost for 1 year for a single
Okay.
location.
Gotcha.
Okay? Now, going back to the dashboard, we're looking at interactions at this point, the second feature. Every review, any feedback from close to 20 platforms at this point, actually more than 20. These are all the directories or networks that we can track reviews for you from. A lot of them, I mean, the ones that already have URLs in them are the directories that we've already listed you on. But there are still platforms that could be niche that some industry specific client of yours wants on their dashboard. And you can facilitate that as well by simply linking that here. And back on this page, everything sort of tracks and shows up. And the option to respond as well is available. Now,
Uh,
from a ranking perspective, that's important. A simple thank you or an apology to any review is again a factor that helps you do better online. All right?
I
A
love it. Yeah,
bunch
no,
of
it's great.
filters.
Great.
Yeah, yeah, you can sort of keep these filters on, pay attention to the ones that maybe matter most. You could have just negative reviews as your focus today and have someone respond to all of this. Now, again, as an agency, some of the options you'd have is either just letting your customers handle all of this themselves, or you do some of this for them and obviously charge them a higher premium, right?
Yeah, no,
You'd
absolutely. We do it. We'll do
mhm.
reputation management. Absolutely.
Right? So then, of course, that warrants for a higher subscription cost as well. So this would then become a tool that you use, but yes, you can still give your client access to still log in and see what's happening at least if you'd like. Or you could just keep this as your back-end tool and simply send them reports to keep them updated on what things are or how things are going for them. All right?
Nice. Okay. Excellent.
Now, interactions covers the bit where you're always on top of any review going up and it lets you respond as well. But review generation here is a very effective tool. Now, this lets you literally connect with your customer through SMS or email. I clicked on the option that allows me to run a campaign. It's a three-step process. The first one again, step one has two bits to it. The left-hand side is the template that you can customize. The right-hand side is pretty much what goes out to the customer, right? Based on what you're seeing on the screen. Now, the step one, the idea is to get a star rating from this customer. 1 to 5 stars is the option, but anyone giving you 4 or 5 stars as a response has guaranteed to have had a good time, I mean, with your business, and then they get this as a response where you can link them to directories where you want them to leave you a review. All right, what we've done here is
Oh,
ensure
perfect.
that
Yeah.
only Right, so only a customer who's had a good time or a good experience is getting this option of sharing online. And anyone giving you 1 to 3 stars will still have an option of writing feedback, but that comes to you internally on this dashboard. It's not really, they don't really see any of these options of sharing online. And hopefully you would use that information and resolve the issue with the customer as well. Right, but the idea is simple. Just get as many positive reviews going online. It's a huge factor, to be honest, when you talk about visibility on the internet. Businesses with good ratings, a lot of reviews, will always have an upper hand. And again, that's the value you can bring for them with this dashboard. Final step is simply launching the campaign. Name, email address, and phone number is what you need. You could do either email or phone number or do both. Emails are free of cost. Each text message costs 2 cents. You would buy credits in bulk and then sort of utilize them if you want to send out text messages for a particular customer. And again, 2 cents is or could be a revenue stream as well. Which you pay us is 2 cents, but of course you could package that very differently when you offer this to your customers. And you can do this in bulk, maybe at the end of the day or at the end of the business week. So maybe they could just send you a file with this data, a CSV file, and you could just upload and run this campaign for them. Or, like I said, you could give them access to do it themselves.
Excellent. Okay. Okay.
Okay, now just going back to the home page here, you can track how each campaign's done. Uh, Again, just a test, so not a lot of data to show you, but it would give you, uh, status on how, if the email was sent, if someone clicked on it, and what the rating was. If it was a negative rating and someone left you feedback, that would show up here as well.
Excellent. And then I
Okay.
was going to say, so for the campaign piece, that's
hmm
can you run campaigns outside of the standard subscription? So can you say, okay, I'm going to purchase, let's do the text messages. We have 300 names. Can I buy,
Oh,
basically 300 times 2 cents, worth of text
yeah,
messaging for this?
absolutely.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
excellent.
I think by default, every location comes with about 50 credits when you get started. And maybe as soon as you exhaust that, you could simply write to us or just let one of us know, and we top up more credits for you based on which location you need it for. All right.
Okay,
Now,
excellent. And then, sorry, go ahead.
no, okay. We're still talking about review generation. Just to sort of maybe make this more effective, you could even set up follow-ups, have them scheduled to go out on different date ranges. This is just going out to those who didn't respond the first time. You've got a first and second follow-up that you can customize. So that's happening from the dashboard as well. And yeah, so there's a small cycle that we've built, if you've noticed. We've created listings, ensured that they're updated, they're accurate. Now we're helping you get new reviews, we're helping you respond to them as well. And all of these factors working together over a small period of time, there's no reason why it's not going to get you results. And that's the confidence, or that's the value proposition you can confidently bring to your customers as well,
I like that. I like it.
right?
And then how is this price? So I heard you say it was 300.
And 60. Again, if you don't mind maybe waiting for probably 5 more minutes before we get to that, we've got a few more features that I'd like to show you before we get there. Analytics
Sure.
is very important. Again, these are customers who'd like to see numbers in terms of results as well as to what all of this brought them. And if you look at analytics, we've got three reports that you can send out. Profile analytics would give you statistics from Google, Bing, and Facebook if you connect your account, and it simply talks about profile views, website visits, phone calls, direction requests, and button clicks. Okay.
Nice.
This again over a date range, and again you can download as a report and send that to them anytime you want.
I like it.
Review analytics is the second bit of analytics. Again, from a review standpoint, obviously, uh, all the directories that have reviews for your business would show up with this data. Small inferences that you could draw from here maybe, the fact that Facebook had a review go up just 8 months ago maybe is a concern, and you could focus some of your attention on Facebook, for example. And that's data that you can pull out from here. All right.
Excellent.
Now, rank tracking is a keyword tracking tool. Are you familiar with something like this? Have you used a keyword tracker in the past?
I mean, one of my folks probably have, but yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
All right.
I'm
Now,
not directly familiar with it, but they'll be.
okay, fair enough. Because it's usually one of the solutions that agencies subscribe to additionally as well. It's something that you're already on a billing for, and we're just trying to show you that it's part of the same dashboard, and you don't really need a lot of vendors for the same. What's happening here is you can add different keywords, 50 to be precise, words or phrases, and we track them from here and we give you status on how your business does against these keywords from Google Local, Google Organic, Yahoo, and Bing.
Okay.
All right, so you can add words that are sort of relevant to your business just to see how you would show up against those words if a search was made like that, right?
Okay.
And some of these, again, some agencies limit the number of keywords they allow their customers to track. So maybe let them start with 20 and everything additionally could be an upsell for you. Just suggestions from what we see as practice at the moment.
Okay.
Okay. Promotional posts at this point is just Google posts. Are you familiar with what a Google post can do?
I'm not, but yeah, my folks probably are. I don't know if is it just
I'll
Google programmatic?
yeah, it's your same. I mean, it's your Google Map business listing technically, but that additional box at the bottom where you can post more content is what a Google post is. It is one of their newer features, but it
Okay.
ideally sort of gets you to engage with your reader or viewer some more. It could be a message, a promotion, an offer, a discount, a greeting, anything on those lines. And you can, I mean, technically at this point, you go to your Google My Business account to sort of put up a post like this if you were a business who was looking at making a post. But now that we're working with your Google as well on the dashboard, any of your posts can go up straight from here. All right, you can put up your content, put up a media file, a call to action button. It could be an event, it could be a promotion. So you could choose all of these options and just add more content to your customers' listings on Google as well. Track results as well. And I mean, it works best when you maybe have an offer, or you're trying to promote some new product or a service or something on those lines.
Perfect. I like that.
Okay, and one of the newer features, one of the newer updates that's due to be rolled out would have Facebook posts as well. All right, that's something that we will see added in the pipeline sometime in the future. And same functionality, how you can post to your Google account, you can post to your Facebook business page as well. Now, I mean, just to sort of talk to you about how we're always updating. I mean, we're going to have Apple Maps added to our list of directories in this quarter. I think that's scheduled for next month. A very important directory. We didn't have it for a while. We had a lot of requests, and now that's already something we're testing. All of it is sort of ready. It's just a few more tests before we launch that. So Apple Maps will bring more value, maybe warrants for, I mean, lets you sort of justify the pricing that you have. I mean, this is just an example, and there will always be more of these updates that you'll see being rolled out. And the idea is it gets easier to sort of promote or sell. All right.
Excellent. Perfect.
Okay. The last bit is widgets. Again, if you build websites or you have, I mean, I'm sure a lot of your customers have websites, and the idea is to show your best reviews on your website. A lot of websites do that today. You can have that
Yep.
sort of created from here itself. You can install this widget with the frame, I mean, from here, but the idea is simple. You can create it based on your requirement, the size, the number of reviews you want to pull out, the minimum star rating, and the source. And using this, it could be a read and write option. And what happens here is your top reviews show up as well, and you get a new window to get reviews if you'd like from your website. So you can
Oh,
do this as well for your customers who have websites going forward.
nice.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, we saw the scan tool. All those leads would come to you right here. If you click on the gear icon and go to leads, this is pretty much every scan that would be run. This wouldn't have any because it's a business location. It's not really uh, doesn't really have a scan tool associated with it. But yeah, you'd have direct access to it from your dashboard. And just to talk about the integrations as well, if I click on agency tools, your scan tool and dashboard set up from here, and it takes close to about 10 minutes from what I've seen to get both of this, I mean, up and running. All right.
Okay.
You just need some domain information, some settings from there, and we're live pretty much.
Nice. Okay.
Okay. Now, yeah, I think we saw all of it uh, more or less. If you add a new location, you simply click the green button, and then you just proceed to add that information, and that's how you would control your account. End of the day, we would bill you for it as well. And all right, okay, I think we missed out on something very important. There's a lot of reporting that you can automate as well, something that's going to help you as an agency in terms of saving time and still showing value. Uh, some of it that we have at the moment is, I mean, for example, you can send out a report or a communication that tells them about their rankings that we're tracking using the rank tracking tool. Every time, there's a report you can send them, or basically a notification letting them know that their listings have synced successfully. Every time they have new reviews, you can sort of notify them about it. If they have reviews that haven't been responded to, again, something you can remind them about. Every month or quarter, you can send out an insights email. This has a lot of data, again, a lot of analytics on how their account is doing. This, again, is a focus in terms of just uh, upgrading. We're adding more notifications that you can automate from here on. But again, a nice value add that you can sort of use to stay in touch with these clients without really, having to put in more effort or time.
Nice. No, that's good. Good.
Okay. At this point, yeah, I think we've seen pretty much everything that the dashboard can do. So, I'd be glad to hear any of your questions or any concerns that you'd have.
No, it looks good. I just want to know about pricing, so and how you're priced.
Okay. All right.
Monthly billing, and
Now,
then
yeah, so it's all monthly, of course. The white label partnership would include the dashboard that you just saw, the scan tool, uh, the account manager, and the onboarding session that we spoke about, of course. And again, different ways that you can get started to. You'd agree with me. I speak to agencies in some cases who already have a huge customer base using local SEO, and if you're looking at moving on board with a certain number of locations, it changes a lot of things. But just using your use case, considering the number is still on the smaller side, the easiest option for you is the $300 plan. All right, what that does is includes everything that we have as is, everything that we spoke about. There isn't a setup or an onboarding or a white labeling cost per se. What this $300 per month gets you is 10 locations as well. All right, so that's what you're paying us on a month-on-month basis, but it's basically 10 locations worth of credits. Right, that's $30 a month for each of your locations. If you break down 360, which is the cost for a year, right? 360 by 12 is $30. You start as an agency with a minimum of 10 locations for all of the white labeling to sort of come through. And in terms of how much that costs you, $300. In terms of white labeling and reselling it, the way I see it, it's probably 3 to 4 sales for you to recover that money. Right? Again, I'm the sales guy. I'm here to sort of show you the best picture possible, but
Mhm.
it is pretty much what it is. You get 3 customers to subscribe to it. The 7 credits you have remaining is pretty much the profit that you can make from a model like this.
Nice. So basically, each location. So if I have, say, if I have two individual companies, right? So I have two clients or three clients that need local SEO, but
Hmm.
it totals 10 locations, right? It's the 300
Hmm.
dollars a month. Okay. All
Right.
right. So it's per location versus per customer per location. It's just all
Correct.
based on locations.
Correct. Each of those locations would technically show up as individual accounts on this dashboard, and they would have access to their particular set of locations. All right.
Gotcha. Okay.
And And yeah, that's it. And in terms of how the setup goes through, of course, you'd give me the green signal first. There's an agreement that would be sent out. Very simple document, 3 pages is what it is. Uh, I'd ideally send that to you as well after this demo to review. And once that's done, send me the agreement, 15 minutes of setup with the onboarding team, and you're pretty much live from that point on.
Okay. So yeah, if you could send me this recording, and
Okay?
then two, if you have any comparison information,
Right,
right? Any
right.
comparison, let's say, here's sign up, here's
Hmm.
Bright Local, here's Yes. Like what do we
For
do
sure.
and what do we don't do? That'd be great. That'd be
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I'll try and send across any material that I can in regards to this. But also, you also maybe can do some of your research, do some more shopping around. You have seen our dashboard at this point, so I know you'd have the right questions to ask if you sort of look at other solutions as well. But if before you make your decision, just I mean, if you could maybe loop me in as well, just give me an idea of what's going on. I could still try and give you an unbiased opinion comparing services. But yeah, before that, I'll send you an email talking about what our demo covered. I'll send you more material comparing us to competitors as well. My direct line number is going to be in there, so you can call me anytime you want. And oh yeah, I'll send you the recording of this demo as well at the end of this.
Excellent, perfect. And I'll share it out with the team and the couple folks that
Perfect.
kind of manage SEO and that type of thing. So,
Sounds good.
okay, perfect,
All
excellent.
right. At this point, any concerns, anything that you probably see as maybe an issue, something that could work against
No,
the
as
idea?
long as long as long as it works, that's fine. I'll
I'm
tell you
sure.
the
Okay.
analytics piece is absolutely helpful, right? We couldn't
Right.
automate it, because we
Mm-hmm.
have a larger
Mm-hmm.
analytics package that we always deliver on
Absolutely.
a monthly basis. Not a
Uh-huh.
right. But yeah, I just want to share it with the folks that know, and then
Okay.
as soon as I can get their read on it, then I can be back in contact.
Makes sense. That sounds like a plan. All right then. Thank you for taking time out for this, and I'll stay in touch.
Excellent. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Rob.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Raj.
it.
It was a pleasure.
All
You
right.
have a good day.
Bye now.
Bye.
You too.